Chris Matthews, former head of MSNBC's Hardball, returned to Twitter among reports that Biden's approval rating continues to fall. It is now in the low 40s as Omicron surges across the country. But he's going to come back and he's going to tell everybody the reason that these things are happening. It's because, according to him, we went too far left. Wait, what? Here's how he began his tweet. I want Hardball fans to know how. I appreciate your faith in me. Oh, hold on. Okay, let me just say something. Hardball has fans? Really? Chris Matthews still has fans? Weird. You know what? I think I know who they are. All of them work on Wall Street. The same people that watch CNBC. Turns out that's going to be kind of important as we get into his analysis. And you can't spell analysis without anal. I said it. Because boy, is this opinion going to be shit. He said, 2022 could be a great time to show what we've learned. I tried to warn we were headed too far left. Too far left. That's right. Oh, we warned you. We're going too far to the left. On what planet? Oh, what? Again, you know what? I know the answer, of course. See, in Chris Matthews' world, his little cocktail circuit, full of incredibly wealthy people who think that they're centrist, right? But are actually just economically conservative. Maybe a little socially liberal, but mainly just economically conservative. And by the way, I say a little socially liberal because they're probably going to be the first ones to be like, I can't believe cancel culture and woke culture is taking everything over. Okay, sure. Now, they think things like the child tax credit are terrible. Like, you shouldn't get that. Or, if you do get it, there should be a work requirement. Or that, oh, you know what, you should leave Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk alone because, they're job creators. They're great for the economy. They've made billions of dollars. Why should they pay more in taxes? No. Medicare for all? What are you talking about? We shouldn't have Medicare for all. No, that would inspire people to be lazy, and we can't have that. Yeah. And how dare you say wages should be higher and student loan debt should be canceled? You took out the debt. You should pay that. The thing is, none of the stuff that he theoretically would be mad about, that he would consider to be too far to the left, has actually happened under Joe Biden. I mean, again, the child tax credit, as I mentioned, that's gone. Gone. Just, it ended. So, that sucks. Bezos and Musk, incredibly wealthy. Guess what? They don't pay their fair share in taxes. People still can't afford healthcare during a pandemic, if they're lucky enough to even be seen by a doctor. The only movement on wages, and we have seen an increase in wages. Why is that? It's because the people took it upon themselves to quit their jobs, to quit their crappy jobs, and to go on strike. Or, that's the two different things that had happened. The mass resignation, and then you had countless worker strikes all over the country, where unions starting to flex their power again. And it's wonderful, wonderful to see. And forcing these companies into concessions because during the pandemic, these companies were even more profitable than they had been before. And workers finally decided, we deserve a little bit of the pie. Wasn't an act of Congress. Wasn't an act of Joe Biden. Can you remember? During I believe it was one of the first COVID bills under Joe Biden, there was a measure to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. That was the famous Kyrsten Sinema thumbs down. We hadn't seen anything about $15 an hour, which, by the way, $15 an hour, with the rate of inflation that we have now, is now worth about $12. And so, really, I think we should be, at the very least, $22, $23 an hour for a minimum wage. Oh my God, Jeff, that's crazy. How could you? Other countries have that wage, and they're doing absolutely fine. Why can't we do this when we're supposedly the most wealthiest country on the planet? And where you have CEOs that are making millions of dollars in salary. I think they can afford it, y'all. I think they can afford it. And so, yes, we should have a higher minimum wage. We shouldn't even be asking for only 15. 15 was 10 years ago. Be asking for much more now, much more. But none of that was done, again, by Joe Biden. And so here's the thing, right? Joe Biden does have a low approval rating. And that's true. Again, he ran on canceling a portion of student loan debt, but then refuses to do so. Combining COVID, which we have Omicron that's running rampant across the country. Now, again, I'm going to be fair and point out how that's not all his fault, obviously. Now, the lack of testing kits, that is his fault. I think that he does lay a lot of blame on that, especially when his administration says, okay, let's keep going. Like, why don't you do the tests so we can get back to work? Do the test, testing. Okay, but where are the tests? Other countries, the government will mail you out tests. Does this government do that? No. No, they don't. Not at all. In fact, Jen Psaki had laughed it off. What do you want us to do? We want to send everybody tests? Yes. Yes, we do. That's the government that's doing their job. That's literally what they're supposed to do. And by the way, he also promised to pass things like Build Back Better. Now, what did we get? We got a very, very heavily corporate tilted infrastructure plan that was passed. And that's it. And yet somehow, Chris Matthews thinks, oh, see, if we wouldn't be in this situation if Joe Biden and the Democrats hadn't gone so far to the left. No. The real solution is we need to go to the right. We need to go even more conservative. We need to go even more right-wing and give the rich everything. I couldn't think of a more out-of-touch DC liberal than Chris Matthews. Now, here's the thing. I actually have come to despise and I used to use this term a lot, but I've come to despise the term shitlib. I think it often gets used by people who seem to want to ally with fascists and don't understand how those same fascists will later on turn on them at some point, and then the rest of us. Don't work with fascists, okay? But for Matthews, I think I'll make an exception because I think Matthews would qualify as one of the biggest shit libs there is. All right? Let's just say that. Again, this is a guy who claimed that Bernie Sanders, if he had won, was going to march him into Central Park for execution. That's insane. Did you ignore January 6th, Chris? You know, again, that's what the right wanted to do with Mike Pence. They said, hang Mike Pence. What does Bernie Sanders and progressives want to do? They want to give us health care. That's it. Oh, you don't understand. They're the same. The far right and the far left. I can't tell the difference. Get the fuck out of here. No. Now, the provisions, the ones in the original Build Back Better, not the one that was the ones that were pared down. Actually, the original was $6 trillion. I'm talking about the $3.5 trillion. Now, that was championed by Budget Committee Chairman Bernard Sanders. And they were incredibly popular, even among Republican voters, by the way. Allowing Medicare to negotiate prescription drug prices. You know what that polls at? 95% of Democrats, 82% of independents, and 71% of Republicans. This is according to a Kaiser Family Foundation poll. A different KFF poll found that 90% of the public said, yes, let's expand Medicare to include dental, hearing, and vision. And they said that is a top priority for Congress. A CBS YouGov poll taken back in November found that 73% of adults in the U.S. say that they support federal funding for paid leave. Universal pre-K at 67%. 61% support free community college. Oh, but no. What part of that, Chris Matthews, is far left? Oh, far left. Oh my God, things that are popular with the American people? Far left. Oh my God. No, what part of wanting to protect voting rights, women's rights, workers' rights is far left, Chris? Is too far left. No, this is normal stuff. This is stuff that normal countries do. And they, again, refuse to do it. So now in response, of course, he got ratioed pretty hard. And I want to read some of the responses because these are fun. Muscovy Beast writes, all Matthews is telling you here that he's a right-winger. His wealth and status keep him insulated from most policy effects. So this is just his reaction to what he sees as too far left, based upon his ideology. Don't trust rich people to tell you what's what. True. Rob Rousseau writes, okay, let's get you to bed, Grandpa. I enjoyed that. Left of the Dial writes, centrists need to own Joe Biden's failed presidency. The idea that the Democratic Party moved left in any substantive way is completely dishonest and or delusional. Take some responsibility. True. Now, again, you have these so-called centrists, which are actually just corporatists, like Kirsten Sinema, Joe Manchin, John Tester, among many, many others. Those are just a few. Well, they're blocking progress. They're actually the ones that are out there hurting the Biden administration. Now, of course, the Biden administration, I tend to believe that they also really don't want these things and are not really fighting for them. Now, that's an opinion. And so you can disagree with me on that, or you can agree with me on that. I just tend to think, well, look, he's not exactly a big, bold person, never ran on big, bold ideas. So when he doesn't do big, bold ideas, kind of tells you that he never wanted to do those big, bold ideas and that it was just a campaign ploy, to try to beat Trump or something. And more importantly, beat Bernie Sanders in the primary and prevent a Bernie Sanders presidency. Now, speaking of Bernie, the Twitter account People for Bernie tweets, what policies are you against, Chris? Not letting children fall back into poverty, which, by the way, the child tax credit cut poverty in half. And still, it could have done even more good if more Americans actually had taken advantage of it. It's basically just getting your taxes early in a check, your return. That's it. All right. But he said, they wrote, not letting children fall back into poverty, allowing seniors to chew their food, list them specifically. Star Stuff, Bernie Bro Star writes, I don't think anyone should listen to a man that compared a Jewish senator who just wants everyone to have health care to a Nazi. Hope your last years are as you deserve. Yeah, he did make that comparison. He compared Bernie Sanders supporters to literal brown shirts, where again, you have the fascists that are on the right wing. Did he say anything about that? No. Christmas cheer Liz Brunig, she's a New York Times writer. Here's what she wrote. Man, I don't think you've got anything to worry about. I think you can sleep so easy. I think things are headed hard right. And it won't be just when Dems get obliterated in the midterms. Now, I hope that doesn't happen, but you can see the writing in the wall. You have very low approval ratings for President Biden. And you have a midterm election. Man, ain't going to be good. Ain't going to be good at all. Now, again, I hope that does not happen. But if and when we do lose our democracy, it'll be because people like Chris Matthews and all the wealthy elites choosing barbarism over what they would consider to be socialism, which is just providing basic social services in return for paying taxes. J.R. Jackson tweeted out, Boy, this is some serious Rudy Giuliani cluelessness in this ridiculous tweet. True. And then another person says, hey, the right wing literally tried to overthrow the government, but too far left? Now, look, either Chris Matthews is senile and just completely losing it, or he's auditioning for a spot at Fox News. And maybe it's both.